What up, everybody? How's it going? Is it too bright? Is this too bright? Let me know if it's too much light. This is your truly Rama screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment. Whoa! It's Sunday. You know what that means. Um, the latest Euphoria episode just arrived, and I watched it. Very nice, says Borat. Oh my god, I'm so obsessed with this show. Oh, it's not fair that that season one only has 8 episodes. That there's only one episode left next week, and then we'll have to wait another whole, like a whole full year until season two arrives. I hate waiting, man. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life after next week's episode. I don't know. Maybe I'm just gonna be twiddling my thumbs till next summer. But I tell you this much. I tell you this much. Um, if this show does not get Emmy nominated for best drama category at next year's Emmy, because of course it's not it doesn't qualify for this year's Emmy. This year's Emmy, they already announced the nominees. But if Euphoria does not get nominated for best drama category at the next year's Emmy Awards, I'd be hella pissed. I'd be pissed off, man. I'd be like, what? What? Come on! This is your great new show, TV fans, or the TV Academy, I should say. Come on! Don't overlook Euphoria. How dare you overlook Euphoria? And you know what? Hunter Schafer, uh, Jules, the actress who plays Jules, she better get nominated for Best Actress. Leading Best Actress. You know what? I should say probably supporting. I think everybody's on equal footing on this show as supporting, right? Not like one is the lead and the rest are supporting kind of deal. I think Zendaya and Hunter and the other co-stars, I forget their actual names. I just remember them by their characters. But they all share the same screen time. They share the fair share amount of screen time. So, but anyway, if Hunter Schafer does not get nominated for Best Supporting Actress in a drama category at next year's Emmy Awards, I'd be hella pissed. Hella pissed, okay? We'd be riding on the streets, you and I. um, all right, so tonight's episode, the title is very mouthful. It's a long one, it's a doozy. Um, the titles of Euphoria episodes are usually based on actual songs, hip hop songs specifically. This one, I'm not sure if it's based on any song. Let me know if let me know if it is. Um, you can you can chime in in the comment section. Hey, Rama, this is based on this one, but it's a mouthful. It's the trials and tribulations of trying to pee while depressed. It may actually be the only episode with a title that's not based on a song. And you know what? If that's the case, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Um, there's a lot to unpack here. Um, so let's just do it this way. We're gonna save the best for last. Not well, best is not fair to describe it. We'll save the big chunk for last, and by that I mean Maddie and McKay, because tonight's episode, um, the character whose backstory we get to see, because each episode it starts with a backstory of this character or that character. Tonight it was Cassie. Um, so we got to get a look back on her upbringing, her parents' relationship, and the whole the relationships that she had with men over the years until she, of course, met McKay. So yeah, that's the background that we got to see tonight at the beginning. So we're gonna save that for last. But let's start with Jules. Let's start with Jules. My favorite character on the show. Jules is a fan favorite. When you watch a show, any show, there's usually that one character that just everybody loves. Jules is that character on Euphoria. We may have, or we may disagree about Rue, or we may have love-hate relationship about Kat, right? Or we may, you know, one night or one episode we'll love Maddie, but the next episode we hate her, sort of like that. Mixed feelings for this character or that character, Nate or Cal Jacobs, what have you. But Jules, I think you and I can agree that this is a fan favorite. Everybody is like on the same page. Like I like that. I like her. I like that character. So in tonight's episode, Jules, of course, in the aftermath of the whole thing with Jules being threatened by Nate, so much so that Jules gave in and gave a false testimony to the cops about that. What's his name? Billy, I think. The older guy that took the fall for allegedly what do you call that? Strangling. There you go, or choke holding, I should say. Maddie. So anyway, the aftermath of that in tonight's episode, she skipped school apparently for about a week, and then she ended up hanging out with her old friends from the other old school, and somebody just somebody just texted me. Okay, and then they went to party, they went to a nightclub, and man, that whole thing. Okay, the scene of her hooking up with the new black girl. I don't know her name. Let me have it if you know her name. And it's like juxtaposing that with Jules' complicated relationship with Rue. It's like when they start to kiss and they start, I guess, suggestively eating each other out. I was like, no, 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 Jules, why? Because I want Jules to be, with Rue. So I was like, no, don't have this fling, don't have this, whatever this is, don't have it. Obviously, it's just an escape, a relief, a getaway, a one night thing. Nothing will come of it. Why do you have it at all? But man, I guess everybody copes with stress differently. In this case, it's like she needed to unleash. She needed to just, like fuck it, whatever. And this is it. This is that fuck it, whatever. And I'm like, no. Am I the only one who wants to see Jules with Rue? Really, really. This new black girl that comes to town or comes to, I guess you could say, Jules' world. It's just like, come on, you're just taking advantage of Jules' state of mind right now. That's what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing. That's she. This new black girl. She's an opportunist. She's an opportunist. That's all she is. And I feel so bad for Jules. And of course, what happened? Writer director Sam Levenson, who created the show, he's a genius. Um, he he used that as a template to show us the audience that Jules still has not gotten over whatever her mess, that this ordeal that she has with Nate, um aka Tyler. Remember that Tyler's his alter ego. She got fooled into that one. And so this whole thing, it flashes from Nate to that new girl, flashes back and forth. I was like, wow, that is so fucked up. So obviously Jules is still not okay in an okay kind of sense. When you think of somebody doing all right, this is not it. This is not all right. She's still, she's still not in the right state of condition, and I feel bad that this is her way of kind of like just unleash. Obviously, she's still fearing this whole ghost of Nate, and she's like this complicated, like, oh, but I want you to. So complex, so complex. Oh man, and uh that scene really is really, it really hits me. It really hits me. It's like a cocktail of like, what am I supposed to feel here? Because Nate comes in, suppose not actual Nate. But Nate's like, "Oh, I love you," and it's like, "No, no, stay away." And but then they pull each other toward each other, and then they start like kissing. They're like, "No, get away!" It's like it's so dramatic. It's like what are some of the classic scenes? Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, or those dramatic like, "No, I hate you, but I love you. No, I hate you, but I want you." Oh, so messed up, man. Oh, dude. I love this. I love it. Um, so as a fan of Jules, I was like, oh man, I feel so bad for her, so concerned for her, and we'll see whether or not the season one finale next week will have a conclusion um, where Jules could confide in Rue in somehow about her feelings or her experience, her truth with regards to Nate. But we'll see. We'll see what Sam Levinson has in store for us next week. But for tonight, I'm like, man, I want Jules to be okay, but I don't think she is at this point. Not in this episode, at least. Um, so Jeff Carrigan is here. Hello, very good episode tonight. Yes, indeed. Jason, hi Rama, just about to check out Euphoria. Oh, if you haven't checked out Euphoria, Jason, you need to. You need to. It's a fantastic show. Okay, so that's a bit about Jules. Let's get to the next one. Let's talk a bit about Kat. Okay. I told you before that Kat was one of my favorite characters, but after last week, I kind of took it back a little bit because the way she treated Nate, I think that's his name, right? Nate was not cool. Remember, I told you like she's like all this. Oh, you're a virgin. I don't fuck with virgin. Like it's like get away from me. It's like so, and you're right. Some of you guys said she missed out on what could be something real, an actual relationship that she could have with Nate, with this boy that actually cares about her. But she's just like she was being a dick. So now she kind of has fallen down in the ranks, I guess, of my favorite characters on Euphoria. She's not at the bottom like McKay. McKay is still my least favorite character, but Kat is no longer like nearing the top. Jules is still number one for me. So in tonight's episode, we obviously get to see what happened last week. Of course, it confirms our suspicion that Kat did have sex with Daniel, and it turned out to be the same Daniel that remember when that episode where we saw the backstory for Kat when she was dating that one boy when she was a sixth grader. That turned out to be that same boy, Daniel, that now grew up to be this psycho, and said those mean things to Cassie last week. But anyway, in this episode tonight, um, two moments that were, I think, pivotal for Kat. Um, and I'll let you know what I mean by that. First off, um, it was a scene where Kat and the rest of the girls were trying to console Cassie. Cassie was asking them for advice, like, should I tell McKay the truth? That I kissed Daniel and stuff like that. And there's a confrontation between Maddie and Kat. Maddie's like, what? I miss the old Kat. And Kat's like, oh, you Maddie, you only talk about yourself all the time. And then Kat walks out of the room. I think, and then it flashes back. I'm sorry, it flashes back to right after Kat and Daniel had sex. They're lying on the bed, and then Kat tells Daniel, "Hey, that was nice. Remember we dated once back in sixth grade for like 5 months, and he does not remember her at all, at all. He's like, really? Huh? You? We dated? I have no recollection of that. Oh snap! Oh snap! Oh snap! Oh snap! um. So that's the other moment that I was telling you about. The first one was the confrontation with Maddie. The other moment was when they're lying on the bed. So two moments, and that says to me, um, that cat got a taste of her own medicine. She did, boy. She did. Karma's a bitch. What goes around comes around. You know, um, you blow off Nate. Hey, Daniel's like, hey, I don't remember you. And you could tell from her face just how painful that is. You know, the fact that Daniel did not even have a recollection of them dating. You know, dude, she like you could tell from that look on her face is like, oh, that hurts. Yeah, well, Kat, that's how Nate felt. You know, you freaking shouldered him, and you left out of the room. How do you think he felt? Oh, damn. You know what? And as much as I still like Kat, you know, maybe not my top two favorite anymore, but she needed that humbling. She needed that humbling tonight, and she got humbled. She got humbled. She got a taste of her own mess. She got what she throw out to the universe. You know, specifically to Nate. It went back at her, and it's like she felt it too. It's like, oh no, damn! I just had sex with this guy, and this guy doesn't even remember me from way back when. Oh, I'm nothing but a piece of meat. Damn. And you know what? Cat needed that. Cat needed that. Wow. What an interesting turn of events. I would love to interview Sam Levenson. You know, if I had the chance, it'll be like it'll be a priceless opportunity just to ask him, how do you, you know, decide or that this character needed to have this thing happen to her or him, you know, in the next episode, and making sure that how do you make sure that the arc um explains why they need to be humbled or why they need to grow, you know, as a character. Oh man, I would love to pick his brain because specifically for Cat, it's just like I want to know Sam Levinson's decisions for Cat is. I just ah so good seeing that humbling tonight. So good. And you see Cat like walking on the streets like just crying. It's like, yeah, you kind of deserve that. You kind of deserve that, Cat. I still like you though. I don't hate you. You know, the fact that you have this empire, this business of yours, that's still cool. So yes, the blue chemist is here. The new black girl's name is Anna. Thank you so much. The blue chemist is here to help me out. Last week you helped me out with the wire. Yeah, you kind of help reminded me that those names were from the Wire series. I was like, dude, how come I forgot? The freaking like I lived and breathed and shit the Wire when it was on air. I kid you not, I was addicted to that show. I freaking love Omar and Weebay and freaking Stringer Bell. So thank you so much for the reminder, Jeff Kerrigan. Maybe that's why the guy was leaving the camera blacked out. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes, that scene in tonight's episode. Oh, that was just like so weird too. Like not only that he left the camera blacked out, he distorted his voice. Dun dun dun. Oh man. And you know, just to comment real quick on that before we move on to the next bullet point. Um, Gotta give shout out or credit, I guess you could say, to the girl who plays Cat for, I guess for willing to go the distance for for her character, not his. I'm sorry, for her character. Obviously, she's not comfortable enough to actually go nude. That might have been a double body double. Um, the only person or the only actress who's comfortable doing nude out of the leads in this show is the actress who plays Cassie. Not even Maddie goes full nude. So, but in tonight's episode, as you can see in that scene, Kat kind of, all right, I'll take off my shirt, but it's not like it's not for the audience to see. But the fact that she even is willing to go through that scene, you got to give her some credit for that. So anyway, let's go on to the next bullet point. So this video doesn't last too long. Um, Before we get to the last point, which is Maddie and McKay, I'm sorry, Cassie and McKay, I want to comment on Rue. Let's talk a bit about Rue. Um, Rue is basically the title of this episode. That's what happens to Rue. She's feeling down, she's depressed, and you know what? She binge watches Love Island in the same manner that I binge watch Grace and Frankie. You know, this show on Netflix. I fucking love Grace and Frankie. And I kid you not, sometimes I think what was it, because I watched it for the first time this year, this season. So I binge watched the whole 5 seasons in one weekend. And I kid you not, there have been moments where I was like lying on the bed, you know, cuddling up, and with my laptop like just really close right in front of my eyes, and just watch an episode of Grace and Frankie. And I'm like, dude, that's totally me. When I watch Rue tonight, it was like just on her bed. It was like Love Island really close to her eyes. Um, I never watched Love Island though. I don't know whether or not that show is good. I know it's on CBS, right? It's a reality show. Um, the last reality show I watched was The Amazing Race, so it's been a while. Uh, but anyway, back to Rue. The title is Trying to Pee While Being Depressed. And man, that whole thing with the bladder, oh dude, it reminds me of that classic Simpsons episode. Remember that? Where Grandpa Simpson, um he had to hold his pee while they were like on a road trip for like the longest time. And then as they're on the freeway, Grandpa Simpson keeps like seeing like billboards, sometimes billboards of toilet, billboards of people peeing. It reminds me of that. It must be so painful, the whole bladder, the kidney, the whole thing that Rue's like experiencing tonight in tonight's episode. Wow. And at one point she is even like on the floor, just like on a fetal position, just like, oh, sweat and whatnot. Oh, dude, I feel pain just watching her in that, in that fetal position, just like, when her mom finds out, like, oh, what happened to you? I was like, oh, that's got to be really, really awful. But there is one awesome, I should say two awesome moments about Rue tonight. It's not all just bladder painful, okay? Like one of them is when Rue plays detective. Oh man, that was awesome! Did you see that? It was like she has this gun holsters, like the whole detective get up. Cop Rue, that's right, Jeff Carrigan. And I think Lexie was the partner, right? And they were like freaking like trying to investigate, trying to get to the bottom of it. And Rue even like figures out like, oh, I got it. Nate likes Jules. Aha. And like she has all these pictures on the floor, just like stereotypical detective work would. Um, that's one of the things. The other things stereotypical is like, you have whiteboard and then the faces on the whiteboard, and then you have like ropes or strings connecting one to the next. The other stereotypical detective work is that you have hierarchy. Okay, so this is the head of the mafia. This is the right hand man. Here's the pawns. So, but this one is like all the pictures on the floor. That's one of the styles that detectives would do. Oftentimes, though, it's not just like the pictures of faces, but pictures of um, dead bodies, crime scenes pictures. So anyway, that whole sequence was amazing. That whole sequence, like, so awesome, so cool. At one point, she like tries to fix herself coffee. I was like, if only they throw in some donuts in there, and that'd be even more perfect. I love it. I love it. I love it. Rue, That was a fun moment with Rue. The other fun moment is when um, she dismisses her mother's new boyfriend. By the way, her mother's new boyfriend is played by this actor named Nat Faxon, I believe that's his name, and he is an Oscar winner. He won Oscar for screenwriting, The Descendants. That's the movie with George Clooney. Remember George Clooney, Shailene Woodley in the island of Hawaii. So Nat Faxon won Oscar for adapting that. I think it's based on a book. So anyway, or maybe it's original screenplay. But anyway, he won Oscar for writing this Descendants. So I just like, oh, cool, Nat Faxon is here, and that moment when Rue says to him, like, "You go fuck yourself. My mom deserves a better boyfriend than you." I was like, "Oh, burn!" And the fact that her mom doesn't quickly jump and sort of like, Rue, how, apologize, because she did demand Rue to apologize the first time, but then when Rue says, "I apologize for telling you to go fuck yourself, and I do think that my mom deserves a better boyfriend than you." After that one, the mom doesn't step in, which to me sends a signal that the mom kind of agrees with Rue. It's like, yeah, yeah, I'm not gonna ask her to apologize for this one because she kind of has a point there. I was like, ouch, man, ouch. And Nat Faxon has that face, unfortunately, a face of a guy who just, that he gets typecast whenever he plays um, a role in a show or in a movie. The guy that's just like a dweeb, like the guy that, I don't know, not a douche, not an asshole. It's just like a weirdo nerd. Like he always plays uncool characters. The guy is like, yeah, that guy, he would not ride a bike wearing a leather jacket. That's not Faxon's typecast, unfortunately. um, yes, the mom was just lonely. She does, yeah, she could do better. Yes, so that's why the mom didn't ask Rue to apologize the second time around. The first time is like, whoa, like, don't say go fuck yourself. He's a guest. Whatever you. And then when Rue tells like, yeah, you can do better. The mom didn't say anything. The mom didn't step in. To me, that's like the mom agreeing with Rue, and I think that's the last one or the last time we'll ever see Nat Faxon on this show. But hey, it's a cool cameo, right? It's a cool cameo. um, so what else did I miss? I tell you. So we talked about Jules. We talked about Kat. All right. We talked about Rue. Just real quick, the whole thing with the drug dealer, the gangster. Trying to, I guess you could say, stand up to Nate in defense of Rue and Jules. I think that's quite sweet and endearing. I feel kind of bad that his business got exposed because of that. And you know what? Screw Nate, man. Screw Nate. He's a he's a dick too. Like, that's a dick move. Um, so he last week he caused this innocent guy to take the fall for him, and now he calls the cops on the drug dealers. I don't know. Is it just me, or it seems like the cops would do anything for Nate to the point where, like, okay, Nate's dad is the influential one in the town. Nate's dad is the guy who builds buildings. Why is Nate the one that every time he calls a cop, or he calls the police station, or he tells police, or he reports something to police station, that the police would just immediately believe him every single time? Just like, so who's the influential here? Who's the powerful one? Nate or his dad? And there's that one moment where Nate's dad is like, because after Nate's dad finds out, okay, somebody took the fall, and you can tell that Nate's dad doesn't believe that bullshit, and so he tells Nate like, hey, I know you did something. I just I just wish or I hope that you I just wish or I hope that this doesn't teach you the wrong lesson. So I guess an argument could be made that despite Cal Jacobs' hypocrisy, there's some good in there. There's some good in there, especially trying to be a good dad to his son. Um, you can't say that Cal Jacobs is all bad because for that one moment in tonight's episode, he's like, you can tell at least in the impression that I get from that one split conversation that he had with Nate in that hallway is like, man, this is a guy, this is a dad who feels like, I guess you could say like, wow, I hope I'm not missing a teachable moment for my son here. I hope he doesn't turn into something that he or I would regret because I don't go the distance for him as a dad. That's the impression I get. I think as bad as Cal Jacobs has been in other respects, right? His hypocrisy. For that one in tonight's episode, you can tell that there's something aside of him like that really wants as a dad to say to his son, "Hey, are you sure you want to do this, son? Are you sure that's the right thing to do? That you did this, that you got yourself out of the situation this way?" It's like, really, are you sure? So he's not gonna win Best Dad of the Year just because of that, obviously, but but you got to give credit where credit is due. Um, so the big time drug provider guy is going to be pissed. Fest flushes all the stuff down the toilet. That's right, Joey Jackson. Good point. Good point. Yeah, the scary guy with the tattoos on his face. Yes, he's gonna be pissed off that his drugs, his products, all gone. Wow, and there's a price to pay for that. There is a price to pay for that. So Jennifer says, I hope Mouse goes after Nate. Woo! That's a theory. That's one theory. Jeff Carrigan says, yes, the gangster got the short end of the stick tonight. Yes, right. It feels so bad for him because all he did was he just pretty much he was standing up for Rue and Jules, standing up to Nate. And that's all he did. He was doing something good. And he got screwed because of that. Because Nate, every time you know, the cops always believe Nate. The cops always like, hey, I need you to do I need you to go search this place or that place. I need you to arrest that one guy. He's the guy who strangled my girlfriend. It's like, oh, the cops are just like, fine, Nate, fine. I'm exaggerating, of course, but it's just like after 2 episodes, you kind of like, really, really. So what? Next week's episode, if Nate says or if Nate calls the cops, like, hey, there's a jaywalker on this side, like they're just gonna go all the way to that street to find the jaywalker because Nate calls it in. um so yeah, I feel really bad for the gangster, and we'll see if things start to look up for starts to be looking up for him in next week's episode, the season 1 finale. So okay, let's get to the meat, to the main event, and that is Cassie and McKay, because Cassie is the backstory that is told at the beginning of this episode. And it's quite the backstory, I should say. Very, very fascinating. We get to see the downfall, I guess you could say, the downfall of her dad from being this very charmer kind of guy to a guy that couldn't hold a job to a guy that has to steal his own shit from his own house to pay for his drugs. Man, that is some pathetic life, man. I'm sorry. I know it sounds judgy, but that's sad. Okay. Sam Levenson, wow, you really know how to write a depressing backstory. That whole thing with Cassie's upbringing reminds me of, what this whole show kind of reminds me of, that 1999 movie American Beauty. Remember that, American Beauty? I know. It stars Kevin Spacey, and Kevin Spacey, of course, he's a jerk. and we'll never see him again. But the movie was fantastic. American Beauty was basically, it's kind of like that. Messed up lives within the suburbs, dysfunctional family, unhappy marriages, um, lies, deceit. Like uh, bottling up your actual sexuality inside from coming out. All of that is tackled in American Beauty, and a lot of what I see in Euphoria kind of reminds me of American Beauty, inc- especially in that backstory of Cassie that we see in tonight's episode. Um, it's funny that as the story goes, when her body starts to change, you know, uh, Cassie, the actress, God bless her, she what's the word I'm looking for here without being too sexist? I guess you could say well endowed. You can say well endowed about guys having big dicks. Well, she has big breasts, and in the episode tonight, that was a little hilarious when the creepy uncle start like trying to get a hug from her. Like, oh yeah, come hug, and they'll be like, oh, they'll be like hugging for the longest time. Oh shit. Creepy, creepy, creepy people. Oh man, her uncles were very weird. Evaporated wig. That's right. That's right. Oh man. Jeff Carrigan says, yes, you were on point about this. You called it 2 weeks ago. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I appreciate that. So man, her uncle's like, oh, come give me a hug. Dude, I have nieces, okay? So I'm an uncle to many nieces. And when they grow up, I'm not gonna do that. I promise you that. That is just too creepy. Most of the times, I'll probably just high five. Because you don't want to, dude. That those uncles in tonight's episode. That's an example of what not to do if you're an uncle. Okay, Uh, don't do that if uncles everywhere. Um, Now, one of you guys left a comment in last week's episode, defending McKay. Defending McKay. So, and this will go nicely to how we're gonna end this video. Let me read to you. And it's not a bad comment. And you know what? If you want to defend McKay, that's fine. That's totally fine. But I have a counter argument to that. So let me read to you what this. I'm not gonna say the name. Um, we're gonna leave that anonymous. But anyway, or he's not really anonymous. His name is already online. You can check the commenter from last week's episode. But anyway, the comment goes: McKay is actually one of the best people on the show. Everybody else is pretty horrible. McKay treats Cassie really good, considering her past. Okay, so tonight we got to see her past, right? You said her past. We got to see her past. Um, One of which involves how she goes from one boyfriend to the next, and how the boyfriends would treat her badly in a way like, okay, I need to videotape you having sex with me. I need to videotape you, giving me blowjob. It's just like I feel bad, because remember I told you Cassie's a sweetheart. She's one of my favorite, and it's like, but she goes through one boyfriend to the next that views her, or that thinks little of her, and then she goes, and then she has a relationship with McKay. And I mentioned to you that McKay also has problem, or yeah, I guess problem, the way I call it, problems with treating Cassie right. Now, you would be right if you argue, hey Rama, McKay's not perfect, but McKay's not anything close to, remotely close to, like the boyfriends that Cassie had in the past. That is true. You would be right. McKay didn't force, you know, um, Cassie to give him a blowjob on camera. There's no sex tape with McKay. Um, so and McKay's not like Daniel. Remember Daniel last week? Well, what a horrible person Daniel. It's like, oh, you're worth nothing. The only the way people are gonna give you worth is for sex or blowjob, like something along that line. What a horrible piece of shit Daniel is. So McKay is not like Daniel, obviously. Um, but that's a low bar. A low bar. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so McKay's not like the sex tape boyfriends that Cassie had in the past. But that's a low bar. It doesn't justify, the many times in previous episodes where, for example, remember that when McKay just kept talking about himself the whole time, or that one moment when Cassie comes down with her Halloween costume. I forgot what character it was, and it's all sexy, and she feels good being sexy. She feels good looking. Dressing up as that, and then he's like, I'm gonna give you my football jersey. I don't want my friends to see you like this. Or that one time when he didn't want to call her his girlfriend in front of his friends. Like he didn't want to acknowledge her. He did not want to acknowledge her as his girlfriend. So yes, he's not like Daniel. He's not like the sex tape boyfriends that Cassie had in the past. But that's a low bar. It's a low bar. You can't give all K praises just based on that. Um, but especially in tonight's episode. In tonight's episode, credit to Cassie for being upfront to McKay about the pregnancy. Um, a lot of people, a lot of girls would sometimes keep that a secret. Maybe I'm exaggerating by saying a lot, but kudos to her for like, hey, this is what happens. And then guess what his reaction was in tonight's episode? His reaction was, "Oh my God, my parents will kill me. Oh my God, um, my coach will kill me. Oh my God, I'm not gonna go to college. Oh my God, me. Oh my God, my future's done. I got shit to do." Remember, he said that. He said that in tonight's episode. I got shit to do. Oh, jeez. See why? Do you see why McKay is my least favorite character? Lexie, Lexie is the most boring one because we don't know shit about Lexie other than she's the sister. So I guess you can blame Sam Levinson for not giving Lexie enough arc or enough development. Maybe Sam is saving Lexie for next season. I doubt that next week's finale we're gonna have the beginning backstory to be about Lexie. I doubt it. So anyway, Lexie's boring, but McKay, from all the stuff that Sam Levinson gives us about McKay, I just don't like it. I find him to be unlikable. And tonight, even my feelings towards McKay is even made more valid. You know, he just keeps talking about himself, man. It's like, really, your girlfriend just told you like, oh my God, I'm pregnant, and the first thing you do is like, oh no, me, woe me, woe me, woe me. Ah, jeez, man, jeez, just stop. For 1 second, ask her how she's doing. Ah, jeez, man. So back to the commenter from last week's episode that says that McKay, what did he say again? McKay treats Cassie really good considering her past. Um, Considering her past, that he treats her well. Considering, yeah, the boyfriends, that the whole sex tapes, yeah, considering that, yes, of course. If you compare McKay to Daniel, if you compare McKay to Cassie's past boyfriends, yes, McKay is of course better by all accounts. But again, it's a low bar. And you know what? I think I still stand by my opinion that McKay and Cassie are just not compatible. They're just not. Um, kind of like Cassie's mom and her dad. They were not compatible. Um, it's a good thing that out of that relationship, the product is Cassie and Lexie, and those, the siblings, they have each other's backs. But the marriage fell apart. So I think I think McKay and Cassie are not meant to be. But that's just me. If Sam Levinson writes for next week's episode and season two, maybe in which a situation arises where McKay changes for the better for Cassie, or that something happens that solidifies their relationship even more, to my surprise, then I would be happy to be proven wrong. But right now, I'm like, okay, if this keeps going, if they still try to make this work every time, every week, it's it's not gonna. It's not gonna. They're just two polar opposites, man. One McKay is thinking about himself, his future, you know, um, and the other, I think, for Cassie, not to be judgy, but I don't think she's at that place yet in her life where she's like, you know what, I don't need the validity or confirmation from some guy. That I'm strong by myself. I'm happy and I'm complete. I'm a whole person. You know, not to go off a tangent real quick here, but whenever somebody says, "Oh yeah, I'm with that girl," or "I'm with that guy because he completes me or she completes me," that's a red flag. You're supposed to be whole, complete by yourself first. You shouldn't be like walking around feeling like a half of yourself. Like, oh my god, I'm only half. That means I got to find somebody to fit this cubics, or to fit this puzzle. To Otherwise I'm just walking around a half a person. That's how I feel like Cassie is right now. It's like you got to feel whole, you got to feel complete first as yourself. And and that's just my take. If you disagree with me, that's fine. I know I kind of sound freaking Tony Robbinish right now, um, but I just don't think they're compatible. I really don't think. So let's get to the chat real quick here. Oh, Evaporated Wig says, I just think they could have written McKay better. I don't hate him, uh, because as a person of color, I get the whole pushing your feeling in. But overall, McKay is just a stale character, plain and simple. Thank you, Evaporated Wig. Jennifer Baumgarten says McKay bores me. Thank you, Jennifer. Yes. Jennifer Kerrigan says McKay just worries about what everyone else will think. That's right. See, that's the definition of selfish. Selfish and kind of cowardice too. It's like it's sad if you're walking around always fearing what people will say or think about you. That's a sad state of condition. Um, Dibukumi says McKay got them Spice One braids from the 90s. Hey, if he can rock it, man, if he can rock it, right? Jeff Carrigan, everyone hammer that like button, please. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, press that like button, everybody. So I've been talking for nearly an hour now. I got to do another live review of Pennyworth. And I'm sure you probably are not too excited about that one. And I'm not going to be surprised if you guys are not joining in for that one. But I like Pennyworth. So I'll be back for that. So let's, in conclusion, we talked about Jules, we talked about Rue, we talked about Kat, we talked a bit about Maddie and Nate, and we talked about, of course, Cassie and McKay. Um, I can't wait for season one finale next week. I'm sad that there's only one episode left of this season one. I hate waiting. I'm glad that season two, is going to happen. I'm glad the show has been renewed, but I hate that we're going to be twiddling our thumbs for a full year, man, until season two arrives. Uh, yeah, Jeff Gargan, Penny was really good. Pennyworth was really, really good. So check it out. They already released 3 episodes on Epics. So I watched all 3 of them already. So I'll be back in the next hour after I take a break. So tonight's episode, it was fantastic. Another great one. So much. This is, guys, I just want to say that I'm old, right? I'm 35, 36 years old. I grew up with like watching all kinds of high school dramas over my years, like from Saved by the Bell to Beverly Hills 90, yeah, 9210, all the way to the original Roswell, um, and of course Riverdale now. All these high school dramas, they don't compare to Euphoria. Euphoria gets it, man. Euphoria knows how to get you like all emotionally boiling up for the characters and for the stories. Oh, I'm so obsessed with the show. And I freaking love Jules. I love Jules. I think she's amazing. I want to interview Hunter Schafer so bad. That's on my bucket list now. Celebrity that like not Al Pacino, not Robert De Niro, not Steven Spielberg. I want to interview Hunter Schafer. She's number one now on my list. This is her first acting gig, you guys. She never acted before, and look how well she did this season. Amazing, amazing for a first timer, for a newcomer. So great, so great. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, for chatting with me. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Press that like button. That's right, first timer, first time acting gig ever. I think she got. I think Hunter Schafer got the gig from Instagram, I believe. I don't know if it's a contest or an audition, but I'm glad that she won it. And I heard that Hunter Schafer actually shared a bit of her life, her background, um, with Sam Levenson, and Sam Levenson actually incorporated some of Hunter Schafer's backstory to he applies it on Jules' story. So I don't know how much is that Hunter Schafer's actual, how if it's how loosely is it based on Hunter Schafer, but I read that Hunter Schafer contributes some of her story, her life story, and Sam Levinson kind of weaves it in with Jules' story for Euphoria. So yeah, I would love to interview Hunter Schafer and Sam Levinson. I don't know if I'll ever get the opportunity. So right now it's just a dream of mine. I'm putting it out there in the universe. Let the universe hear me. Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you, The Blue Chemist. HBO is the king of TV series. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Tell everybody and their grandma, all your peers, your nephews, your nieces to go subscribe to this channel. Press that like button, ring that bell, and if you can help support me, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. All right? Every penny helps. Let's rock this. Penny worth.